Welcome, friends, to another succulent mini episode of a Crept from the 80s. I'm your host, Chris Seaver, and today we are doing a small little haul video and then talking about one of my favorite films from the 80s and favorite films of all time, I would say. And I have a lot of those. I have a lot of favorites from back then because it was a plethora of movies and toys and TV and pop culture for us to choose from. So there's a lot of great material. I mean, there's some stoinkers out there as well, but this is not a stoinker, my friends. This is on the list of favorites for sure. But so I was recently, the convention scene has been non-existent because of the pandemic and whatnot, and finally things are sort of opening back up and getting back to normal. So a lot of the conventions are coming back this year, and one of the conventions that I have been going to since 2004, I believe their first show is Monster Mania in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I have tried to go once, maybe twice a year. Every year, there's been a few misses here and there that I have missed, but I really love going. It's not my favorite convention, but it's one of the cons that I really love going to. And this year, it looks like they're going to be able to do two of their regular shows in the hotels that they have, but they did something different this year. They did like a outside, like a flea market thing. It was like a Monster Mania outdoor horror mall type thing in a big parking lot in Oaks, PA. Right actually behind where they do RetroCon every year, which is a vintage toy show out in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. My good buddy Bobby Heckman sort of called me like last minute and said, "Hey, I got a ticket. Do you want to go?" And I'm only about 5 hours away from it, so I went down Friday, hung out with Bobby, stayed overnight. We went to Monster Mania the next morning, and I left like 3 hours later. But it was cool. It was a cool setup. But I gotta say, I much prefer the your traditional hotel cons or big event convention halls. This was fine though. This was fun, and after so long not attending one of these types of things, it was nice to see some familiar faces and some really cool vendors. I was there real quick. Fun little, fantastical jaunt of merriment and mirth and horror and friendship. And I picked up a few things along the way. These were cool. I cannot remember the booth, so these are like trading cards, horror trading cards, but all nice and large and huge. So I got the Halloween, the Nightmare on Elm Street, and the Friday the 13th. I think they're pretty cool looking. I'm going to get 11 by 17 frames for them and put them down in the horror/theater room. I thought they were pretty cool. Had to get those. And then I, 'tis not the weather for this, but I always get, winter hats, beanies for the winter. And I've got a Creep Show, and I have The Thing, and now I have my favorite horror film of all time, Fright Night. Saw that and had to grab it. You know how it is. Oh, it's down here. Also, I filled a couple holes in my 80s Fangoria collection. Got this classic issue. It is number 64, issue 64. And I got this. Let's count. And this is issue 81. I had a whole bunch that I got at this place called Bartertown Collectibles here in Rochester. I just haven't put them up yet, but they're downstairs. So that is slowly but surely happening. And then this is fun. This is just Bobby gifted me this fun little Blade action figure from Full Moon. I will be getting the 7-inch NECA Full Moon Puppet Master figures that are coming out. The 2-packs, they look amazing. So gotta grab those. But that's from there. Thank you, Bobby. I also picked up the Mego Frankenstein. And I will be opening these. And the Hammer Christopher Lee Dracula, which looks awesome. I really like these retro Mego, the modern retro Mego figures. I think they're pretty sweet. Yeah, I got a Teen Wolf that's up there, and I'll get Creature from the Black Lagoon. I like the Planet of the Apes ones that are just out now, and I'll be getting a couple of those. So yeah, I like that. And then my buddy, I'm blessed to be so close, 10-15 minutes down the road from Fright Rags. My buddy Ben, who runs Fright Rags, is a kick-ass human being, and they just put out their new Bill and Ted's line. So I just snagged this design. I love it. And yeah, go to fright-rags.com for all your horror and nostalgia pop culture t-shirt needs. Kick-ass horror shirts. And that is it. So now I'm going to talk about this movie. It's funny when I've talked to plenty of people who know this movie, and I've talked to plenty of people my age who have no idea what this movie is. So everyone thinks of, when they think of like kids 80s movies, they think of the Goonies or Monster Squad, things like that. And you don't hear a lot of people talk about this 1985 gem, The Explorers. I was probably 86, so I was 9 when I saw this on VHS for the first time, because our theater, I don't think our theater got this. It wasn't in 85. It didn't last long in the theaters, and believe me, just based on the commercials, the TV ads, I wanted to see this movie. So much so that the movie magazine was out there, and I had to get the movie magazine. But if you guys don't know Explorers, it's Ethan Hawke's first performance, River Phoenix, and this dude Jason Presson, and Ethan Hawke's character is like obsessed with science fiction and wanting to explore the universe, be an astronaut, and find other life, and explore the stars and whatnot. And he's a science fiction fan, and he keeps having these dreams, basically, he gets these designs in his head to build a spaceship and this technology that's going to help the spaceship go up and meet these alien life forms. Anyway, it's so yeah, 1986. I finally saw it on VHS, and I absolutely loved this movie. This was right up my alley. A kid who loves science fiction, loves fantasy, loves kids' adventures and going out and exploring on one's bike and finding dead bodies and getting treasure maps and getting treasure and finding the booty and all that stuff and pirate ships and whatnot. Love the Goonies, of course. But this was closer to my sensibilities as far as wanting to know what's out there and loving the science fiction and fantasy elements of things in life, in nature, and all of that. Being very curious about what's out there, knowing full well that we are not alone. So this hit me far more, and I love the idea of these kids like building their own spaceship, the Thunder Road, and it's just a very underrated film, and I think most people found it on HBO because it was on HBO a lot. But I think it's wonderful, and VHS from Video Connection, my hometown video store, Explorers from Wellsville, New York. And then, of course, when the DVD came out, I had to get the DVD. But for years and years and years, I was pining for a Blu-ray of this damn movie. Everything was getting a Blu-ray. Some of the most like obscure, weird things were getting Blu-rays, and I just couldn't believe that there wasn't a Blu-ray. And I thought for sure that Shout Factory, Scream Factory was going to do an Explorers because they were doing, all of these directors that we love from the 80s and who were personal favorites of mine, like Joe Dante and John Carpenter and people like that. We're getting a lot of the Scream Shout Factory treatment. So I had figured at some point they got to do Explorers. And sure enough, as soon as this was announced, I pre-ordered it. And lo and behold, Shout Factory did indeed release Explorers on Blu-ray for the first time. This has the home video and theatrical cuts, and I've watched them both, and I've seen them both in different capacities throughout the years. And I wish that they could have combined everything into one version, because I like the different things that are in each version, and it would be nice to have them in one complete ultimate cut. But I know Joe Dante isn't the biggest fan of this movie, but he does talk about it, and he likes it. He just doesn't love it, and I think that pertains to a lot of what was going on behind the scenes. And you can learn all that because there's a great documentary talking about the making of the film, which does indeed have Ethan Hawke on there, and he talks about how he loves this film and it's his first film, and he loves that it has a cult following and all this stuff. It also has a bunch of deleted scenes with optional commentary from Joe Dante, and one of these deleted scenes, I think, actually a couple of them, man, I wish they were in the movie. Specifically one that's at a birthday party, and Ethan Hawke's character is, he's falling for his crush, and there's more to it. There's more of this story, because in the final version, you don't get a lot of the two of them, and it's a minor part of the journey in the film, but it just fleshes out a lot more this relationship that's building throughout the film. And I wish those things were put back in the movie. But it's great to have them in you know, the deleted scenes, and it's great to hear Joe Dante talk about those specific deleted scenes. But I will say this, guys. Oh, it also, the reason I got it, I had to pre-order it from Shout because I wanted this poster. And I have already framed it. And it's beautiful. I mean, I really, guys, if, you know, and I've never, and we will probably never, other than now, get a version that looks as good as this. I always do, I do like 2 tests. We have a 4K TV and the Xbox One, which is a 4K player, upstairs, and I'll watch some of these discs that way, even though this is not a 4K version, but you know, it's going to show the best quality through these 4K players because it upscales and all this good stuff. And of course, the 4K TV is going to show you the best this, that, and the other thing. And then I have a home theater in the basement with a 120-inch screen and a 4K projector and a 4K player and a Dolby Atmos and you know, surround sound, all that good stuff. And so I watch bits as well downstairs and to do my comparisons for my reviews, because I'm not a tech guy. I just know what my eye can see, and my eye sees, you know, near perfection when it comes to some of these releases. The best that I could, you know, assimilate with my meager, feeble human eyes, who, you know, we can't see 4K, but we can see as best we can. And so I'll just say that it looks amazing. They did such a good job. The best it's ever looked. You know, obviously blows the DVD away. You know, what always stands out to me for releases like these, and releases like 4K and things of that nature, is especially if you're dealing with older films, I prefer to keep the grain, right? Some of these films get DNR'd and they fucking crystal clear wipe away some of the grain from these films. And sometimes that can look okay, and sometimes it ends up looking weird and plastic and waxy and whatnot. I prefer the grain because it's, for me, it's the closest thing that you're seeing to a 35mm print. Again, as far as the earlier films go. A lot of the modern films, of course, are shot digitally, and so they're going to look pristine. But I always look for the grain saturation in these older films, and how much punchier they can bring out the true colors of said film. And so that's what, and the detail. It doesn't matter if you have the grain, which is as it should be because it's shot on film. But I want to see, you know, there's some movies out there where the grain is just so, I mean, it's grain and it's just schlocky and gross and messy to look at. It's a muddy film. But if they do it right, if they do their cleanup right, the restoration, you're going to bring out the detail within the layer of grain and have the color punched. And, you know, for the most part, everything that I've seen as far as these upgrades, these restorations with 1080p and 4K have blown me away. And it's good to have the two differences from the 4K television and the 4K projection with the 120-inch screen and all that stuff. I see different things in both. And of course, I much prefer the 120-inch projector because it's the closest thing for me to having that 35mm print or seeing it in a theater and whatnot and this and that. But, you know, with the other stuff, you're going to, you know, there's things where I'll look at the TV first and I'll go, holy shit, this is the best it's ever looked. And then I'll take it downstairs, put it on, and be like, wow, this is even better. Because I'm seeing things in 120 inches that I was not seeing in, say, our 65-inch 4K. I don't know, man. I was going off. I'm sorry about that. It's stupid layman's bullshit tech shit. I'm just your average genre fan who is just telling you like it is as far as I'm concerned. Again, I don't have these tech spec skills or any of that stuff. I just think this, if it looks good to me, I'm going to tell you. And the Explorers looks good, and I'm so happy to have it on Blu-ray. And I just learned that my wife has never seen it or never even heard about it, which is crazy. Crazy because I've had this stuff in the house. I can't believe she's never said, what is this Explorers thing? But the other day, she saw that it came in. She's like, what is that? And I had to tell her. And so I am going to happily sit down with her and show her Explorers for the first time. And hopefully she digs it. Either way, I dig it. Great performances. Robert Picardo, of course, Joe Dante's staple. He's one of the alien. He's the alien male in the film, but he's also Meg Mucklebones. He's in Joe Dante films. He's in Legend. He's Howling. All this stuff. It's a great movie. Amazing score. Jerry Goldsmith. Oh my God, such a great score. Powerful. I hear it and I get tingles, nostalgia. I hope you guys out there who haven't seen Explorers want to go give it a shot. It may be too late and you don't have that connection, so you may just think it's the Goonies blows it away. And I love the Goonies, and I love the Monster Squad, which even took a step up, being a monster kid growing up, having the kids, the adventure, and monsters. But this was it. This was the precursor. This was me, kids dealing with aliens and sci-fi and fantasy and all that stuff, and I was like loving it. So thank you, Shout Factory, for this Explorers Blu-ray. Thank you, Joe Dante, for being a part of it, even though you've got some sour moisture hovering about you because of the film. But I appreciate you talking about the film, and I'm just glad it's on Blu-ray. So there you go, guys. That was a lot of rambling. Thanks, everyone. Give us a thumbs up, give us a thumbs down, because either way it helps the algorithm and people get to see the episode more. If you like what you see, please subscribe. And thanks for checking out this quick nugget of it Crept from the 80s. I'm going to go make my wings. I got those wings baking. They smell real good. They smell real choice. Get those nips ready for those chicken nips.